What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Ink and Insights, our weekly comic book highlight review show where we go over all the comic books that we enjoyed from the previous week and some of the books that you might have missed. As always, I'm joined here with Stu from Dr. Doom's fan club. Stu, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother? Happy to be here with you. Been a pretty decent week so far. I know it's a light fifth week we're talking about, but yeah, man, things are well. How are things with you?
Things are pretty good, man. I'm coming off of a weekend where we were celebrating my kid's birthday, so we had the whole
Oh,
the whole big
nice.
to do, right? Like we went off to a indoor water park, hit up the arcade. So the arcade was legit. I haven't been to an arcade since the '90s, so that was like
Hell yeah.
bombastic. That was like a
Nothing
hell
like a
of a
legit
time,
arcade.
dude. All
Oh
right,
yeah.
so here and before we dive into the comic books, I got to share this because it was like the highlight of my experience because I got to be a hero in front of my kids' eyes. So we go to the arcade, and lo and behold, they were like way more into getting like tickets, right? They wanted to get the prizes. So it wasn't about like how I was back in the day where it was all Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. They wanted to play the games where they got the tickets to turn them in to get a prize. And one of them was kind of like that carnival thing, like where you hit the thing and it goes up and hits the bell at the very top, and you just got to
Yeah.
hit it just right. So they all take their turns and they're getting like 50 tickets, they're getting 20 tickets and things like that. And we got one more go left until our credits ran out. So I was like, okay, let me give this a shot, guys. Let me see if I can get you some tickets here. And I hit it just right. Boom, that sucker goes off. 2,000 tickets. Oh, it was fantastic. I loved every second.
That's
That sucker didn't stop spitting tickets out for 45 minutes.
yeah. Did they put you on like a chair and did people like hoist you up and walk you around the arcade or anything?
In
Like
my mind, yes. In reality, absolutely not. No, they were just like this guy. Like the kids were basically like they spent 5 minutes being like astounded by it, and then 40 minutes being annoyed. They're like, "Can you wrap this up, old man?" And I'm like, I can't do it. Just keeps spitting them out. I don't know what to
let me
do.
have my glory, boy.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this: would you cash it in on? Did you get like a
So
bunch of those super cool neon string bracelets or
oh, we are like swimming in slap bracelets and like little candies and plushies and all kinds of wonderful things. So like, yeah, we're just, $50 for $3 worth of goodies. So it was totally
I
worth
mean, yeah, it's the best.
it.
It's the best. Gotta love
Yeah. So,
arcades, man.
so yeah, in lieu of having like a huge stack of comic books to read through, I got to spend some time with the family and like really enjoy myself. So it was a good time.
That's awesome. Well, happy
Yeah.
birthday to the kiddo as well. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd start off the show here talking about something a little bit comics adjacent because there's a lot of news coming out here. And, we've
Hmm.
been doom and gloom recently, not just on this show, but across the shows because everything has been bankruptcy, this, diamond, that. I didn't get my books here, there, and everywhere. Um, let's talk about the Fantastic Four trailer that just dropped, though,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Like, I've been cautiously optimistic about it. I'm ready to love Marvel again, specifically the MCU. And I was really like, oh, it's like it's the time. It's Fantastic Four's time to be great. Did you watch it? And what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I did, of course. I loved it, man. I loved the whole vibe for it. I thought it was a really well constructed teaser. It gave us just enough to get excited, but not too much. Though they have shown some different footage and different other things they got going on. But I thought it was fantastic. Pun intended. The vibe is just right, and I like that they're doing this alternate 60s world, but it felt like right on point. And I really like. I was kind of the cast was solid to me, but I wasn't completely sold on it. But this definitely like made me think it's going to work really well. And I thought I was kind of on the fence about um, Ben Grimm at first, but I think he looks fantastic, man. And the suits, the way the suits look, I love that the blue and white. Yeah, and Galactus, dude. And it makes me think. I don't know. It's going to be super high stakes in this one, and this world might perish at the end of it. Or I'm wondering because I don't think they're going to, at least in this movie, be part of the MCU. I think it's going to be something else. So I'm curious to see
Yeah.
how that all ties in. But yeah, I loved it. How about you? What did you think?
I think it delivered on everything that I wanted to see, which was very like not much. I like just give me glimpses, give me teases of kind of what I can expect here, but just give me enough to get me hyped and nothing more. And I think it delivered on that. I'm kind of in the same thought pattern as you though. Like I was really like when they announced the cast because there had been so many like leaks and rumors and like I mean like everyone in Hollywood was basically rumored to be Reed Richards at one point or another. So when they announced it, I kind of I'm still a little bit cautious if I'm honest. I think that
Yeah,
they're
well,
all
dude, it was a pump fake because remember that was like the fan casting. Then that was like, I remember seeing pictures of that cast floating around for months, and then they confirmed it, and I almost didn't think it was real just because like
right.
that had been out there, and that specific lineup had been touted for quite a while. So it was kind of like surreal when it got confirmed.
Well, yeah, because we had the Krasinski and Emily Blunt thing, and Emily Blunt
Mhm.
obviously had connections
Yep.
because she was originally supposed to be Black Widow. So like that had real traction for a while. Then we had Adam Driver, who was like maybe he was going to be Reed, maybe he was going to be Doom, something like that. And I think he could have probably, I guess he still could potentially play a great version of either one. But like there's so many names that were popped out that like Pedro Pascal, because of all the things he had, whether it was like the Mandalorian or the Last of Us, and like he's become like this enormous name. I was like, dude, like why is he gonna throw his name in the ring to be Reed? That just like I feel like it didn't make sense. So like in my head, I'm still kind of like I don't know how to feel about this. But with that being said, they're all incredibly capable actors. I'm the most hyped for Eben Backrock Moss. I think I'm saying that
Yeah.
correctly. Playing the Thing though, Ben Grimm. You and I are both big fans of the show The Bear. So like when he was there and I heard that voice coming out of that rocky, structure of a man, I was just like, oh yes. Like the one
Dude,
thing that I feel like
the
every
trench
Fantastic
coat
Four movie
shot
is
too.
yes, yes.
Like this
Oh,
man, this monster. Like that was I was so here for that. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah. Every Fantastic Four movie, I feel like, has at the very least gotten the thing right. Whether it's practical, whether it's digital, whether it was like the Richard Corbin version. Like, I feel like everyone else is like, I kind of dig the way the thing looks. I've never had any like notes been like, nah, that didn't work. And this one fits that same mold.
So even when it's wrong, it's right for you.
Basically, yeah. I think maybe I'm just
Yeah.
like a secret Ben Grimm fan and I didn't know it. Like, I've never hate.
I kind of like dig that take though, man. And I kind of agree with you on a certain because Roger Corman did like, yeah, it was like a grotesque, like wax museum version of Ben Grimm, but
Yeah, a little bit.
it's like I got such a soft spot for that movie. And yeah, and I kind of there was something I dug about Chiklis's performance. I don't know what it is.
It was
Like
really good.
at points it was like yeah, and at points that you're just looking at on screen, you're like, this is ridiculous. But then I saw a clip the other day of that of the bridge scene where he saves everybody and homegirl's on the bridge and she dumps him right there and leaves the ring on the bridge and he goes to pick it up and he can't with his hands and
With this,
I don't
yeah.
know that yeah that still felt really authentic after all these years, but I just remember so much of those films being forgettable. But yeah, I don't know, man. Overall I'm hyped though. I think it's going to be a big swing for the fences for them. I know we got Cap and what Thunderbolts in between now and then, but yeah,
Mhm.
dude, July's going to be one for the history books when it comes to comic book movies, man. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I mean, yeah, hopefully this year, like not just Fantastic Four, but like all the movies that you were just mentioning. On top of that, we got Superman. Hopefully this year is like a resurgence in even just personally like my love
Yes.
for superhero movies because it has waned dramatically to the point where I'm just like everything that's been coming out recently, I've been like, but then Cap looks good to me. Thunderbolts might look even better to me. And like Fantastic Four and Superman, like I don't know.
See,
I'm ready to love again.
the thing with Thunderbolts is, man, you take all those actors on paper, that's like such a legit cast. Like those people are commanding crazy roles and all sorts of the best movies, like David Harbour, Florence Pugh, um,
Hmm.
what's his name, Sebastian Stan, doing just putting out killer work these days, and all sorts of movies that aren't superhero films. So I feel like I really want to see that one succeed. If for nothing else, they have such a great cast and such an embarrassment of riches, and I feel like that'll be such a missed opportunity. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I don't know if I share your cat enthusiasm. To be
Oh,
honest, but
dude. If it
I don't
gives
know,
me the
man. We'll
vibes,
see.
dude, like the winter, it gives me Winter Soldier vibes, right?
I
And if they
know, but that's what
deliver
they
on
want
that,
to
then that
do,
could be
man.
cool.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
Why wouldn't you
I
want to drink the
know.
Kool-Aid? Kool-Aid's delicious.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see. I heard Homeboy, one of the directors, or somebody who's involved with the film on the front line, say something about the Serpent Society or some version of that being present in this. I thought that was wild as shit
I
because they were
think that
talking
was like
about
an
Seth
original plan, and then
Rollins.
they, yeah, I think they
Oh,
might
and
have
then they
backed out of
dumped
that
him.
plan.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they dumped that villain idea altogether, and they went with this
Hmm.
Giancarlo Esposito incarnation. Okay,
Yeah, dude. And come on, have you
what
ever
is he
seen a
supposed to? Who
bad
is he
thing?
supposed to be anyway?
So, I mean, some low level terrorist character. I remember there was like rumors that he was going to be playing G.W. Bridges, like one of like Rob
Yeah,
Liefeld's famed,
yep,
creations.
that would
But
have been fun.
yeah, but he's just some low level terrorist. But like, who cares? It's Giancarlo Esposito. The dude's awesome. Like, I'll watch anything with that dude.
Yeah, that would have been so cool if they would have given us GW Bridge and they CGI'd their legs and feet to look like Liefeld. Like, you know what I mean? They just gave them like huge upper bodies. And they gave
What
us
made
like
you
a
choose
comic
violence this morning?
accurate, a Liefeld comic accurate Shield team was like the big bad in the cat movie. I'm front row. But yeah, man,
Oh,
I'm hyped. I'm hyped for all these films. In one way or the other, I'm still I'm still excited to see it, and yeah, I want to see Harrison Ford Hulk out though.
same. That's one thing. Like,
It can't
I
be
don't
as
know.
bad as Mark Ruffalo, right? It can't be worse than that.
Whoa. Is this about to turn into like a Eric versus Stu stream? We could put the comics to the side. I don't need to talk about comics. You could take it back now though, and we can consider talking about some Marvel, DC, and indies.
No, man.
Go ahead,
No, let's we don't
apologize.
need to. We don't.
Apologize to
I'm not
Mark.
gonna. I will not apologize to Mark. I will not. I just
All right.
watched what's it called? The first Infinity what yeah, Infinity War or whatever, man. It's I don't know, man. Those scenes when he's trying to Hulk out, it's rough. But it's all good.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll accept that
Is he
you're
your
wrong
favorite
about some of your
Hulk?
takes.
Is he your favorite MCU Hulk?
Well, I mean, we only got two to pick from, right? So it's like either
No,
him or
we
Ed
got three.
Norton.
We got him, Eric Bana. You're just gonna forget about Eric Bana like
That's not
that, huh?
MCU. That's not MCU. That's like saying Lou Ferrigno is MCU. Like, okay, he was a Hulk.
I
Not
mean,
MCU though. He's not.
all
There's
right,
no
but,
way. I'm
I
not
mean,
accepting
yeah, but he's part of. He's still like you talk about modern day Hulks. I think about Eric Bana.
that. Okay.
I thought he was part of the MCU.
Is Banner your
I thought
favorite?
they took them all in. I don't know, man.
Ah,
I think I really liked Ed. I didn't mind Ed. Ed was all right. I got to go back and rewatch those joints. Did Ong Lee who directed was that Ong Lee that directed
he did the
we're gonna
Banner
be
one,
off.
and then it was Louis
Okay.
Lettier
Yeah,
that did the
I
Ed Norton
feel like the Banner one slept on, but man, I can't remember. I got to go back and rewatch both of those.
All right. Be on the lookout,
Okay.
everyone in the chat here. Hulk
Yeah,
rewatch.
guys,
coming
who's your
soon.
favorite Hulk in the chat?
All right. Hey,
And in the
speaking of that
comments, let
chat,
us
before
know.
we dive in here, yeah, we got some people rocking with us already here. Speaking of which, we got Edson. Nice seeing you, buddy. Saying, I've been watching all the 9-panel videos from the beginning. I didn't realize you just started in 2024. I absolutely did. And thank you very much. I was wondering why my watch hours were going up here. I appreciate the hard work you're putting in. We got Simpleton rocking with us. FF trailer was pitch perfect.
He's a beast
The tone was awesome. I loved it. All right, we got Rooster Blue with us here. That line Pedro had about the family dinner, that delivery felt flat and awkward for me. It felt a little bit forced for me too, but also I guess it depends on the gravity behind like who he was talking to. Because how often do you have to bring a person into your home and explain how your family operates? That's a little bit weird. So I see what you're saying though. We got Fable from One Collection down here, the mighty host of Blame Fable. Let's see here. We got Here we go. Rooster saying almost like he's trying to play the part of a neuro. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Neuroatypical. Did I say that right? I definitely did not. Here we go. We got Edson agreeing with us. Chicklist was great as the thing. Yes, absolutely. Oh, yeah. All right, and I think I'm caught up here. Let's see here. Do we have anyone shouting out their favorite Hulk? We got Simpleton saying Ang and Hulking. Here we go. We got Fable here. Still love Bill Bixby. All right. See, we got some old school Hulk love in the chat here. We appreciate that. All right. Well, without further ado here, let's go ahead and dive into some of the comics that we enjoyed from the week here, starting with the House of Ideas with Psylocke #3. This one is written by Alyssa Wong with artwork by Vincenzo Caratu. To me, this book is all about style and nothing about substance, right? But I kind of mean that in the best way possible, because I don't expect every single book, every single week to really make me think and get deep and like ponder my existence in the universe. Sometimes I just want to see badass ninjas slice shit up and wreak havoc on everything going on. And that's kind of what this book is about right now. We kind of enter into this as Psylocke, who's now Quanon. She is completely separated from Betsy Braddock, so she has taken on the mantle of Psylocke, if you will, and she's kind of been hooking up with John Greycrow a little bit. They got a relationship going on, but she comes back from one of these adventures to see his freaking arm pinned up to her door like a Post-it note saying, "Hey, come see me." What does she do? Of course, she has to go answer the call for the arm being pinned to the door and just mess up every single person along the way. As she's going along the way, though, she kind of finds some clues, some hints as to who's behind all of these things here, because her greater mission outside of her role as an X-Man has been to save these captured children who are being used to harvest the mutant growth hormone here that's kind of being distributed out. So before we get into some of the greater relationships and some of the revelations from the latter part of the issue here, what do you think about the series so far, Stu? And kind of, I don't know, what's your impression of Psylocke as a character?
It's okay. I mean, it's all right. It's not, honestly, like I wouldn't be reading this book if you weren't throwing it up to talk about it. I don't know, man. The art is just that generic Marvel style. I think, there are people out there who are really gonna like and appreciate this series. It's just not for me. I don't know. I'm a Betsy Braddock Psylocke guy. Who is Quanon? Help me out, man. What is the whole?
So in the it had to have been the late 80s. One of the storylines on Chris Claremont's run of Uncanny X-Men, basically Betsy Braddock merged, or had her mind basically entered into the body of a different individual, which is kind of like the Psylocke that most of us grew up knowing, which was the Asian counterpart of Psylocke, right? Still Betsy Braddock. It was still her thoughts, her mind, but it was inhabiting the body of this other person. That storyline was only supposed to last a couple issues, but everyone's like, "Oh, dang, Asian Psylocke's like it. That's the thing." So then that storyline expanded more.
Yes.
And then it started. Yeah, exactly. Like it was, it was the thing when you're an 8-year-old reading Uncanny X-Men. So
I mean, it still might be the thing. That's it.
It might be. But yeah, then they basically stretched it out so far because it kept selling the books where we're like, well, we can't turn back on it. And it took all the way almost up until Krakoa before they kind of switcherooed that, gave Betsy her own body back, gave Quanon her body back. And there's been little bits and pieces where they've played with the idea. Like I know I can't remember the exact number, but I think it was like the late 20s of the X-Men relaunch, the Jim Lee X-Men relaunch. They kind of played with it because they had the Revenge character that it was like Revenge, but it ended with CHE, Revenge, if you will. That was kind of like the Quanon-esque character. Like it was like her, how do I say this? Maybe like the body that she inhabited, I believe that's how it took place or something like that. So her mind was then also put into a different character. So basically Quanon and Betsy have been button heads ever since this has all been happening, but now they're their own individuals, and there we have it. So if Asian Psylocke is your thing, then consider your next thing, the thing you're going to say about this book here, because come on, it's a little fun. Like, I'm not going to say it's blowing
It
your mind,
is.
right?
No,
But like, it's a
the
little
action
fun.
is cool. The action is cool. And like I like how, they're definitely trying to expand, the things this character is capable of. You know what I mean? I definitely
Mhm.
appreciate that. And I like the butterfly touch, because that was always her, like the symbolic use of her power.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah,
was cool
anytime
to
she used the
see.
telepathy, like you saw the
Yeah,
butterfly
yeah.
on her face and
The
stuff.
this
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool to see, like kind of like that being the calling card of this character that we get towards the end of the issue. But yeah, man, it's all right. It's like, it's just I don't know. It's a struggle for me to connect with it. But regardless, I think that this book is definitely has a place out there. And could definitely bring some new fans to the character. So
Yeah, I want to argue with you, but I really don't, because you're right. Like, I mean, in the vast array of Marvel books out there, did I pick this one because it was the best? Yes. Does it mean it was the best book that came out on stands? No. Like this one, it is a very middle of the road kind of book here, but I do find it important to give Marvel a little bit of love here in a week that maybe it wasn't their strongest outing either way. I do think it opens up a further conversation, though, because you had mentioned something that even I've mentioned too, which was house style. When it comes to Marvel and DC, I've mentioned this on a bunch of books, and I think you hit the nail on the head with this one, that it is very Marvel house style. Who do you think drives that house style? Like, what do you feel like they're trying? Who is it that they're trying to emulate here when they're doing this for both for Marvel and DC?
I don't know, man. Maybe Pepe. A lot of it feels like kind of
Okay.
inspired by his work, but I don't know. That's a question I don't think I'm super qualified to answer, just because I haven't been completely dug in with them over the past couple years. And um but I don't know. A lot of it feels like it has that early X. Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad to see I'm seconded. I'm glad to see I'm seconded, because I don't know. Who do you think? Like,
I was going to give you a third, man. Like, I do think it's
yeah,
Pepe. I think that he deserves all the accolades that he gets, because man, like when he hit the scene, I remember it was before House of X and Powers of 10 started coming out, but I remember seeing he did covers of X Force right before that big X-Men relaunch, and I was like, damn, who is this dude? That cover looks dope. Like, I loved
yeah,
his rendering of the characters. And then when House of X hit, like, dude, like he just hit the scene hard and heavy. And I don't think that he's been a name that has not been able to kind of leave the gravity of Marvel. Like, if a Marvel book
yeah.
comes out, like he's one of those like top three names. Like, who's the artist you want on this? It's Pepe and someone else, and it's like
But
Pepe, Marco, Caquetto, and someone else basically.
right, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a straight up directive from them to make it look in that style. And I think that they are kind of outsourcing international artists they can get for a cheaper dollar. And this is kind of, it's just kind of bang up like that. This to me would be the equivalent of DC, like having everybody draw like Jorge Jimenez or something like that, you know what I mean, or Dan Mora, which is
Yep.
not necessarily a bad thing, but it would get, because I'm more partial to those two artists than I am to Pepe, though I think Pepe is a is a great man. I think he's a legend, and I think
Yeah.
he's a modern, what he's done for modern Marvel comics is incredible. But yeah, to me it would be like seeing that across the water. So I don't know. It's just so, I'm just so over it these days. It's just like, and it's like immediately causes me to disengage some way with the book when I see that. When I open up page one, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I hear that. But I mean, and it kind of reminds me of the 90s too, because for every Jim Lee, you had a Brett Booth. For every Mark Silvestri, you had a David Finch, right? For every Rob Liefeld, you even have a Stephen Platt. So it's like, I feel like, again, like, I mean, it's a great thing to have one of those artists that like pop off the scene, and it makes it like, I mean, it just like blows everyone's minds. But then, like, all of a sudden, you get this wave of, you know, lesser versions of that or
Yeah,
emulated versions of that, and it kind of, it's a bummer a little
and
bit.
it does, and I don't want to say it diminishes his legacy, but it, because it doesn't, but it it's kind of unfair. I think it's kind of unfair, and it doesn't serve Pepe in the best capacity because I feel like it's a lot of it's flattering, but it's also, does that make sense? It's, I don't want to say
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's devaluing his work or his art, but I don't know, just diluting it, I guess, a little bit. I don't
Well,
know.
it's kind of like when Joe Mad hit the scene in the late 90s, early
Yeah.
2000s, and like
Oh,
he was a
dude.
big deal, but then you had Roger Cruz that came on the scene who had a, we'll use the word similar art style, if you will. And I remember Joe Mad in some of his own issues, like sneaking in little tidbits of like newspaper clippings that are like flowing in the background of scenes where it says like Roger Cruz swipes again or something like that. It's like, yeah, I
No
think it's just
shit.
a
That's
thing,
awesome.
and yeah,
Yeah.
we have decades upon decades upon decades of quote unquote house style. So, but all
That's
in
very
all,
true,
yeah,
bro. That's a great point.
yeah. All in all, though, Psylocke, again, all style. You want to see ninjas cut stuff, you're going to see that. There's some really cool splash pages in this. I
There
can't say
is.
that I can't say that there's a whole heck of a lot of substance to it, though. Maybe that's coming down the pipeline, though. I think the dialogue's good, but overall, it's not one that you're going to miss if you happen to leave it on the stands. All right, and just like we were talking about with Marvel here, a little
Hold
bit of
on.
Slim
Before we move
Pickens.
on, I do think it's interesting that it seems like a lot of the best these Marvel X books are the character driven ones, like
Oh, they
Storm and
are.
Phoenix, and yeah, that's
100%.
wild.
The only ones that I'm finding any enjoyment out of, like, I mean, you want to hear me, talk. I will talk smack about some X books because they are such a disappointment to me right now. Outside of the solo books, that's the only place where I'm finding them. I think that Psylocke, again, lot of style. I'm enjoying the book, but it's not something I'm like gonna like miss if I miss an issue. Phoenix, I think, is doing something that's above Psylocke. I think that they're delivering a better storyline, and it's so removed from Earthbound stuff that, like, I don't know, it's exciting me, and it's also pulling in things from the Dan Jurgens run of Thor back in the Heroes Return era. So that kind of it gets me a little bit nostalgic. So it's got like hits in a couple different places for me. But
Yeah, man.
Storm took me
Last
by
couple
storm.
issues, yeah.
Yeah,
Last couple issues have been because like the first two, we did it with Fable, and yeah, Fable, you gotta check out the last two issues, bro. The last two issues have been, especially issue 4 with Doom, was crazy. Incredible
yeah,
art too.
exactly.
Incredible artwork. Sentinels, yeah, again, I keep hearing about Sentinels.
Yeah. Someone's gonna have to try to convince me a little bit harder than just writing Sentinels in the chat here. That's yeah, it's a book. It's a
That's
book.
that's the Pagnadel run, right?
It is, and I love Alex Backnadell.
Mm-hmm.
That book.
I know.
Hey, you know what? It's gonna be out there in a trade.
It is.
Maybe I'll circle back around to it. But man, it was
That's the beauty of comics, is eating crow and being a hypocrite and
oh dude,
sleeping
Lord
on
knows I've
sleeping
done it.
on books. Yeah, I mean, that's the best. So you sleep on books and then come back and, man, what an idiot I was.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong, like
Yeah.
all the time,
Being
every
a,
time, except for Eric Bana being the better Hulk, because that's not true at all.
oh
Moving
wow.
on, though, we got our boy James Phelps rocking with us in the chat here. Phelps, it's
James,
always
what
good to
up,
see you,
bro?
dude. All
Yeah.
right, now I think it's time we could put Marvel to bed, right? I think we've spoken enough on Marvel so
Yeah.
far. Let's talk about arguably a better publisher, at least for last week's books here. Let's dive into a book that honestly could have made our book out of the blue for me. Superman Lex Luthor Special #1, written by Joshua Williamson with artwork by Eddie Barrows. Didn't intend to pick this up. Didn't intend to read it. I hate one shots. I will be very honest. I hate one shots. I think that they're kind of a waste of time. Most of the time they don't do anything to further a story, and this absolutely did those things. I think it's almost arguably essential reading, both from a way that you see character growth, both from Lex and Superman, but it's also pushing that story forward, pushing the narrative in a really cool way. The background of this entire book is that during the House of Brainiac storyline, Lex Luthor basically sacrificed. He did the sacrifice play. He didn't know whether he was going to live or die, but he stops Brainiac to save Earth, to save the whole super family. In doing so, though, he basically has his memory completely wiped. It's gone. He doesn't remember who he is, but he's slowly but surely kind of like understanding who the person of Lex Luthor is, not necessarily remembering himself, but he's understanding who that person is and still living out his life, albeit in a much more, I don't know, happy-go-lucky way. Like he's not out to kill Superman, or even like previously when he had an uneasy alliance just for the betterment of Earth. It's not that at all. He's just like, he's cool, chill Lex. That's his whole thing. And through this issue, we get glimpses into his past where he had an abusive father, both physically and, verbally. And we see kind of like the genius that was Lex and his way of like learning music. And he had a loving, mother with him. Before I dive too far into the rest of this, because we're going to get like really close to the ending of it real quickly. What did you think? Well, did you read House of Brainiac, I guess, first and foremost? And like, what's your thoughts on Lex Luthor as a character right now?
I want to say I did read House of Brainiac, though it's kind of foggy when you're talking about some of the events of it. I've been trying to keep up with Superman comics for the most part since Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Action. Now, there was some of that stuff in the transition period when there was a lot of Superman family books and stuff going on where I wasn't keeping up with everything, but like that Tom Taylor super, like some of those, the super,
it was a Superboy. I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Something like that. Yeah, like I wasn't keeping up with everything, but I was trying to keep up with Action and any main Superman stuff. So I believe I did. Yeah, this was fantastic, man. It made me immediately intrigued. Like, are you familiar with the artist or anything else they've done?
No, but the artwork was fantastic.
Blew me away.
So
that was
good.
Yeah, that was like just from page one, and we get that when Mr. Terrific is calling Superman, we get that terrific splash of him fighting with the Justice League. I thought it was amazing, man. So it immediately draws you in that sense. I'm old school like that. I love, give me, like they used to say on cartoons, fake kayfabe, smack me in the face like the first page or two. Give me something that is going to hook me in, and I feel like that's kind of forgotten a lot of the time these days in comic books. So I don't know. I really loved the way it opened. It drew me in right away. I loved this kind of lost, amnesiac Lex. I thought he was, really endearing and believable. And yeah, I love the black and white flashbacks, man. Those were especially poignant. And yes, like I said, some of the art there, especially, I thought shine. So
I loved it. Really, really pops.
Like you said, pleasant surprise. And yeah, like I completely echo your sentiments. It did a lot for the character, and I appreciated that. So I think if you're digging the Superman run, which has been fantastic, guys, if you haven't been reading this one, it started with Jamal Campbell on art. We got some truly epic issues there in the beginning part of the run, and Dan Mora now. I mean, what more can you?
No kidding. And we had the artist of Absolute Superman, Rafa Sandoval, doing the House of Brainiac part of the story.
That's right.
As well.
Yeah, great call. So they haven't taken a step down.
No, the art has been like top notch,
and they've let Williamson cook. Like, it's, what are they on? What, 17, 18 issue 17 or 18 of Superman? So it's great to see.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And to speak back towards like the flashbacks in this book here, I should actually explain as well. So with Chill-Lex, not understanding who he really is, but like knowing the character of Lex himself, his daughter kind of like is looking for ways to kind of help his, regain his memory, or at least kind of gain some kind of grasp on who he is. And he's doing so because she knew that as a child he learned piano. So she got a piano and said like, hey, maybe through this action, this will trigger some memories. And by triggering some memories, that will open up your own memory of who you are and what you've done and, what it means to be Lex Luthor. So that's kind of like the framing device of the entire thing. And so the piano is like the backdrop of everything. And we keep getting flashbacks to him playing the piano and being berated by his father for not being brilliant as a child, even though he's learning to play music and a piano, which is a fantastic thing in itself. All the while, then we start to see even more so, we start to see the brilliance that is Lex, where he creates a machine that'll basically transmit this music, but only certain individuals will be able to hear it, because one of the things that his abusive father does is, bitch, moan, and gripe about the fact that, can you keep that racket down? So he does. He creates something to keep that racket down in his childhood, showing the brilliance that is Lex Luthor. All the while, we see that while he created this and only certain individuals can hear it, it has actually soothed the child, the baby, who is Clark Kent in Smallville. So it's this beautiful like encapsulation of like these characters and the link that they have, not just as, arch nemesis and not just as uneasy allies recently, but all the way back from their childhoods, having this link that the music that Lex created is the thing that soothed a child, Kal-El, with the Kents. It was so awesome. But in hearing that music, Clark in the future hears that music again, which triggers the only thing that it could possibly mean, which is that Lex truly remembers who Lex actually is. What did you think about the ending of this issue? Kind of like the grandiose end that brought back Lex Luthor.
I love it, man. And I love like him hearing it with what's her name? And this guy next to him, like, do you hear that? And I just love that shot of Lex at the end of the piano, and he's in the shadow,
Yes.
like he's playing the piano in the shadow. I love that. It was great. It was a great little, like you said, a great little touch, and a cool little bit of history between two characters we thought we knew everything about. And we really don't think about these two that much when it comes to being young kids together. So I thought that was a genius touch by Williamson. Yeah, super cool. And it was cool to see some of Lex's home situation and his internal driving factors as well. So
yeah, I mean, it makes you sympathetic for like so many characters within this storyline, because like, how do you not sympathize for young Lex and like maybe have a little bit more of an understanding about where he comes from and maybe the reasoning for some of the actions that he's taken as an adult version of himself. But on top of that, we also have Superman, who is kind of tasked with, I don't know, asking him to do the unenviable thing, which is be the Lex Luthor of old, right? Be the genius, but also evil version of himself. And like Clark knows that like he's pushing a person over the edge, because even the new chill Lex is like, is that what you even want? Like,
yeah, like
the damage
Mr.
I can do in this world?
Mr. Terrific, for as smart as he was, felt like a little bit naive this issue, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah, Mr. Short-sighted.
I need Lex. That's the only way we can unlock it. It's like, okay, bro. But yeah, it just seems like, I don't know. I did like, that's why I like that scene when Clark was like, maybe I shouldn't push you, and left.
Yeah,
him. Like, because it felt super accurate.
Yeah, and it makes it even more tragic that Lex then either downplays it, because we really don't know. Did he remember, or has this been an act the entire time? One way or another, whatever it is, it's kind of tragic, because he either has to let down his guard and be old Lex, or truly decide to remember. Either way, it's a bummer, because chill Lex was pretty chill. I'd have a beer with that guy. Regular Lex, I can't say that I would. Probably not, in fact. Yeah. So anyway, awesome issue. Totally, in my opinion, required reading if you're reading Superman by Joshua Williamson here. So if you haven't already, check that out. All right. So moving on to, actually, before we move on to our next book here, let's see. We got people. What's Fable saying? Tell Stu what you really feel about that Doom one shot. Oh.
What's up with that? What's up with that, bro?
Why you gotta put me on the spot like this, Fable? Why you gotta do this to me, dude?
Nah.
I loved it. It was great. It was great. It was fantastic.
Don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. Tell me the truth. Friends don't let friends hate Doom behind other friends' back. So thank you, Fable. What's up, bro?
Hey. Friends stood in line to get their Doom #1 signed by the same dude at the same time. So yes.
And the whole time you were lying to me. And you lied to Sanford Green too, huh?
I know. I just slid in front of him and whispered in his ear like, this is trash. Nobody likes this.
When I get home, I'm going to talk about Psylocke.
Hey, Sanford, come on the show. Let's talk about it. Let's work this out, buddy. Like maybe that'll be how the healing starts. Okay.
Sanford, I barely know this guy, and he pays me a lot of money every week to do this with him. So if you ever want to come on Dr. Doom's fan club, you're welcome, bro.
Oh my gosh. All right, we got Rooster Blue saying, I feel like the art in the DC books has been wiping the floor with Marvel across the board. Yeah, I can't argue with that. That's just truth. You're just spitting truth right now. We got DC Patrol with us. DC, man. By the way, everyone in the chat here, if you haven't subbed up DC, he's putting out fantastic content each and every week here with his comic book reviews. Loving his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Great. Saying it was a solid issue. Barrows is amazing. Yep. Yeah, dude. This issue put him on the scene for me big time. So when I see that name, I'm definitely going to be on the lookout. All right. Moving on to the next issue here. Stu, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick us off here with our first indie book of the night, Seasons.
Yeah, the Seasons #1 from Rick Remender's Giant Generator. Apparently this has been cooking since 2020 when everything shut down, according to Remender's afterword in the book. But yeah, Paul Azaceta. I don't know Paul from anything besides his recent work on Jason Aaron Punisher run. He did the flashback art while Jesus Saez did the stuff in the present day, and his art was fantastic in that, as it is here. Mateus Lopez on colors and Russ Wooten on letters. Another fantastic entry from Giant Generator, right? A great #1, intriguing right off the start. It's this playful yet ominous feeling that kind of pervades the whole book. You know, we get this wild circus that has kind of lulled this town to sleep. They all seem to be looking into these magical mirrors, and this town is essentially like been taken off the map. No one has been able to raise or contact anybody, within the town's limits since this traveling circus showed up. And we get this crazy, it's wild, it's playful, but at the same time you're like, man, what the hell is going on here, right? It feels like something out of Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, this whole issue felt like Mary Poppins on LSD or something. You know what I mean? It's just wild. Like these characters. Anyway, we go from there to following one of the seasons here. This is Spring as she chases down this letter that's addressed to her. I thought she was trying to deliver it at first, but then to find out is from her. And we get kind of introduced to this town and its characters along the way. She's a complete and total nuisance, right? She's ruins everybody's day.
She's an adorable nuisance, let's be honest.
Exactly, absolutely, man. It's like, Remender said this in the afterword, and it's totally there. Like they wanted to pace and panel this book like a movie. And this has like all those hallmarks of like an awkward wild chase scene, like complete with her like jumping. She's falling down through the buildings, and she lands in like the long johns and the clothesline. You know what I mean? They conveniently catch her. Like she's doing everything from catching cakes, falling upside down to up in the bird's nest and the electrical wires. Like she's a complete and total mess, and she's all over the place. But the art is fantastic. It's so colorful. It's so vibrant. She finally does track down the letter, but before she can even read it, the circus shows up in her town. I mean, look at that color work. Absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, we get this big double page splash of the circus showing up. And this mysterious ringmaster character, I think Remender called it, gives her this flower, and then she reads this letter, which is from her sister, Autumn, and it warns her about this circus, and that these people have been after her, and she's on the run, and that once she gets this letter, she needs to leave immediately, get the rest of her sisters, and they're being hunted. So like I said, that sense of ominous fun, like this this bright and beautiful circus kind of has a sense of scary about it. So that definitely comes through here in the end. And not a ton happening really. She's just chasing down this letter and reading it as the circus shows up in town. But it's just so fantastically drawn and paced, and it gives us a great insight into this town that she's from, and what she's going to be facing, or at least a little bit of what she's going to be facing. But anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. What did you think of it, bro? And what are your thoughts on Giant Generator as a whole?
So Giant Generator is like just, it's where I can have probably the most. Nope, am I back? I think that Giant Generator is kind of where I can hang my hat. It's where I have the most confidence in a sub publisher, if you will. I love what they're doing. I love every book that they put out. Even like the lowest tier book that they have is like still one of the best books that are coming out month over month over month. Before I jump into this here, I just wanted to call out Sal's statements here, because he's absolutely correct here. Beautifully drawn book. Yes, Paul Azaceta, who, yeah, you had mentioned, that was my first, at least introduction for a long-term book, was The Punisher for sure. And I really loved those flashback sequences that he did on there. And he also says that Remender was mentioning he was going for a Miyazaki film feel for this, and he absolutely like hits that tone so perfectly. I love this book. It was the book that I didn't know I needed in my life, and it hit at just the right time as well, because kind of like what I was talking about with Psylocke, not every book has to like, change your life and blow your mind and like really just like, I don't know, like it doesn't have to be a precious metal is what I'm trying to say, right? This book is not precious metal, but it is so full of whimsy and so like heartfelt, and it's so bombastic. I think I just needed to read a fun book. I needed to read a book that was going to make me smile, but like not in a way where like I'm laughing. It doesn't have to be humorous or funny. It was just so freaking whimsical, and I had such a fun time doing it. And the thing that I said in my video about this, and you had mentioned like the Alice in Wonderland comparison is great. I said it had like the tone of a Willy Wonka, the movie, like the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka, where it's like you're having all of this fun and you're having a great time, but like it has this undertone of darkness throughout the entire thing. And I don't know, it was the right book at the right time for me. I was just like, ooh, this is awesome. I'm having a blast watching this character go through all of these crazy things as she's trying to just open this letter and read it. But everything that's going on here, like the start and finish of the book, where we find out about this town that has essentially disappeared, not the town itself, but all the people, poof, gone, nowhere to be found. And now seeing the circuses in town, or the carnivals in town that was at the town that has now disappeared, and she gets the ominous warning. It's just beautiful. It's perfect, and it has such a great animation feel to it. The flow of the entire story, it's great. It's very sparse for words, but I think you're going to have a great time going through the wild and wacky adventures of this girl in the first issue here. I'm really, really excited to see where they take this story, and if they keep, I guess, that level of whimsy, because that's going to be a hard thing to continue issue over issue.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. Yeah, can't wait to meet the rest of the sisters.
Yeah, well, and that's the other great thing about it too, is that this is called The Seasons. Really, we've gotten, this issue has all been about the one sister, with the caveat being that, we had that small introduction to her sister. It was Autumn. Am I correct? That sent her the letter. So Autumn sends, Spring the letter that kind of gives her the warning. This carnival, I think that they have something to do with things. They're coming. You need to be, on watch. You're warned. Get the heck out of there, because you're not safe. But we still have two sisters to meet still. So there's a lot of meat left on that bone here. So I hope that they continue this story and keep that level of charm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. You ready to move on to the next book here?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
All right. We got I'll take the lead on this one here for Redcoat number 9, written by Jeff Johns with artwork by Brian Hitch. I'm loving Redcoat. If you haven't heard me recently, man, Redcoat has been and continues to be my favorite book from the Ghost Machine universe, and particularly the Unnamed universe with Geiger and Junkyard Joe and so on and so forth. This issue was kind of like an in-betweener kind of issue, basically, because we just got through with the arc that had our main character's introduction and his adventures with Albert Einstein. And this kind of just takes us on a little detour here, where we go further back into the past, but we see kind of like a one-day adventure with the character of Johnny Appleseed. it was just a really fun, really exciting adventure here where we get to see a little bit more about maybe some of the ways that magic work in the unnamed universe, and particularly for Simon Pure, our main character. And we also get to see a little bit more about, again, like his hero's journey. I feel like that's what this is about. This is the unlikely hero. This is the, the person who doesn't want to be, doesn't want to do the heroic move, but at each and every turn he gets to meet new people, and he gets to see maybe what a better version of himself is going to be like, or could be like, and he's starting to feel that influence over and over. So so what were your thoughts on introducing, like, we had Albert Einstein, a very real character. Now we have Johnny Appleseed, kind of like an American mythological character that's been introduced, man. Like, what were your thoughts on kind of that pivot and the introduction of that character?
It was dope, man. And I like how, how honest he was, and his relationship with Simon, and how he was trying to encourage the best parts of Simon, and remind him that of the good he had in him, and that he was meant for bigger things. But yeah, it was great to see them get into this giant apple-sized adventure together. Yeah, a lot of fun. Artwork was great again, as it has been, issue after issue, and even on the filler issues on this one, which this one kind of was, they've been just so much fun, and added a little bit of depth to the character, but they're always such a good time. It's always such a fun book to read. I never dread going through and catching up with this one. So again, we talk about Giant Generator, another Ghost Machine, another publisher that has been killing it and doing things the right way. And yeah, I can't wait to see where his journey ends up. I'm not gonna say I'm tired of, like, the wait and see with him, because I just said I love these filler issues, but at the same time, I would like his story to giddy up a little bit, and for us to kind of see where how all this is going to intersect, and what the first real big play is going to be for this universe. So I'm excited to see how all that develops. But I love Johnny, and I hope to see more figures, more legends of Americana, like Paul Bunyan. And
yes, you took the words out of my
Did we see
mouth.
Paul
No,
yet?
we haven't. But that was my first
Okay.
thought. I was like, dude, what if like 6 months from now we get a Paul freaking Bunyan in his Blue Ox issue, man? I was thinking the same thing, dude. Great call.
Yeah, Davy Crockett, like, give me all of them, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You could do some super fun things, and that's what I like about this universe, is how it plays with American history in that way. It's a lot of fun. So
Dude, it's funny that you bring that up though too, because I've been thinking a lot about, well, all of the Ghost Machine books kind of in that same way, because this was, again, like, we get character growth, but we don't get story growth in this issue. But I feel like we've been getting a lot of the same from Geiger as well, where we've been getting a lot of character growth from his ward, if you will, right? The Nuclear Knight that's with him. But for all intents and purposes, like, the last 3 issues of Geiger have kind of been a little bit of the same as well, where, it feels like they've walked maybe like, a block away, and that's like, but we've gotten 3 issues of that. But I'm not mad at it either, because like every single book that I'm reading from both of these things, like, I'm still like thoroughly entertained. So I don't know what kind of witchcraft they're working here, but it's still totally working for me, even though it's like I don't know if slow burn is the right way to say it either, right? Because it's not really like a slow burn book.
But yeah.
Yeah, but it's like slow burn, but also like it's like meandering a little bit. It's not afraid to like go over here for a little bit and check out what's going on, and then we'll come back. So it's like,
Yeah.
It's like kind of just adjacent to the path, but it's still kind of on the path. So
now, for me, that's been like some of the best moments of Geiger, was like the Barney in the zoo issue. Remember that one?
Example.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that really worked well, and I thought that was a great little trip off the beaten path. So yeah.
I think that, like, similarly to like the way that we look at Scott Snyder, where we kind of know the ebbs and flows of a Scott Snyder story, I feel like Jeff Johns has similar rhythms to his writing, because we're seeing that same thing in Geiger, and we're seeing the same thing in Redcoat. But man, I gotta say, like, if that's your trope, that's your trope, and I'm digging it, dude.
Yeah.
So just keep shooting your shot, dude. I'm loving it.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
So the story ends up here because we haven't even really gotten to the ending yet here. So essentially, Johnny Appleseed uses a little bit of Simon's immortality magic here. He's able to kind of harness that magic and use it, and he, makes this huge apple. But inside the apple is this extraordinarily big earthworm who ends up almost attacking this town, and they're kind of trying their best to stop it. It's a fun romp for these characters, one who is immortal, one who is essentially mythological. They're able to save the day, save the town in hilarious fashion here as Simon is riding this worm here, trying to draw the magic out of him. And in turn, they not only save the town, but they also provide it with this enormous apple. I love how heartfelt Johnny was as well, because throughout this adventure, like, they go to this town and they see that they're falling on hard times. And Simon's like, sucks to be you, buddy, but I'll see you later, bye, town. Where Johnny's there to definitely help them out. And as they save the town and provide this enormous apple to them, like, it ends with him saying, like, I know I let you down, Johnny. Like, I honestly don't know why you still stick around with me. And I love the way that he flips the whole story on him. He's just like, some heroes' journeys take longer than others, and you're just not ripe yet, basically. But you will be. I love how that just hit me. That pulled on the heartstrings just a little bit. How did you feel
The
about
old the green apple metaphor is beautiful. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It was great. Yeah, it was really well done, man. It's cool to see, like, the town building the scaffolding next to the apple, like, dude.
Yeah,
it's like they're gonna have apple pies for months. And I love him. I love how he transforms it right in the nick of time, and it just turns back into the little small worm right there in his hand. It was dope.
Yeah, it makes me think twice about all those worms I stepped on as a child, though, man. Because if that sucker got big, I'd be real frightened, real quick.
Yeah, be in trouble, bro.
All right, moving on to the next issue here. Oh, here, hold on. Actually, we got a couple comments here. I think this was about the seasons here. I skipped it, but those pages you're showing are selling me hard. Rooster,
check it out, Rooster. It's dope.
I think it's worth it, man. Like, it made my pick of the week. And I think it was like it won so handedly. So yeah, definitely check it out here. And then we got this one. I'm happy that it hasn't been in a consistent arc in the last few issues. It breathes so much better for me this way. Yeah, totally agree, man. I feel like that's a little bit of what we were just talking about here. It's nice to just kind of take a break, catch your breath before we get into the bombastic nature of whatever the greater series is going to be, because we still got George Washington to deal with, from what I understand. So there's craziness coming down the pipeline. All right, our next issue, though, Stu, I'll let you take the lead on this one. Ice Cream Man number 43.
Yeah, it's our excuse me, our one-page horror story anthology. We got a bunch of guest writers, including Prince, but Jeff Lemire, Patton Oswalt, who else? Matt Fraction, Kelly Sue DeConnick, the great Grant Morrison. Yeah, Jeff Johns, Dennis Camp, Zoe
Jeff
Thorogood.
Johns was one of the writers of one of the stories here?
Jeff Johns did the Lickety Split one.
Right over my head.
Yeah, but so this issue was okay for me. Actually, I super high hopes hearing that Grant Morrison was going to be writing an Ice Cream Man book, right? And I did enjoy his story. His was the first, or one of the first here, and I love the references to Dante's Inferno, the Gustave Doré, artwork and stuff like that. That was super dope. But I don't know, man. A lot of these were a swing and a miss, and just didn't do a whole lot for me. It's one page, so it is what it is. What can you can't really fault them, but I don't know. I just, there was a lot that I finished reading, and I was either confused as to what happened, or it just kind of sat lukewarm with me, or just the idea just didn't work. I just didn't feel like it was well executed. It was more miss than hit, unfortunately. But I don't know. What did you think?
That is fascinating, dude. That is wild, because you are arguably the dude that like made me sit down and appreciate Ice Cream Man more so than anyone else. Like, I mean, you're the reason that I got caught up on the book, and I've loved everything that I've gotten from this book, including this issue. Now, I think it's unique and it's different, But like, doesn't that just describe Ice Cream Man? Like, I mean,
Yeah,
isn't
for
that
sure.
what this book is all about? Like, did it hit as hard as like the decompression in a car wreck issues? Like, no, of course not, because you can't. It's so incredibly hard to do that when you're dealing with one-page storylines. But man, like, I gotta tell you, like, especially recently, we've gotten this like barrage of anthology style books. Like, we've gotten the reintroduction of EC, where we've gotten our short stories from Weird Science and Epitaphs from the Abyss and things like that. And those have arguably, well, not arguably, they very factually have larger storylines to deal with, because some of those get, 3 to 5 pages to deal with to tell a compelling story. And dude, like, if I'm comparing apples to apples, I feel like more of the writers more often told me a compelling story in one page here than what I've been delivered elsewhere. So maybe I'm giving it more grace than you right now, only because I'm playing that comparison game. But some of these I really enjoyed. And in fact, the one I enjoyed the most it was the furthest removed from comic book style, where it was really just W. Maxwell Prince writing the prose story about the baby shoes and the sale ad for the baby shoes, and kind of telling the story of, you think you know where this is going to go, but you don't really know where this is going to go. And true in fashion, I did not know where it was going to go. On top of that, they also had the story, the one pager with the Ice Cream Man himself, where he was instructing you to do certain things on the page. And I got to ask you, because I can't remember if you had made it back onto the monthly comic book show by the time that we were talking about this issue. Did you do the things that he told you to do?
Yeah, of course I did. I'm a fucking cheat,
yes,
man.
Everybody does it, man. That's the magic of this issue. That's what makes this book special, is because it gets in you. It becomes part of you, and you listen to the freaking writer, and you listen to the fictional characters within this book are manipulating your own reality. Tell me any other book right now that's going to be able to do that for you. Name one.
I'm not.
If you say Ang Lee's Hulk, I'm going to be so mad at you.
That's why I love this book. I just was thinking about that "Inside of You" song from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Inside of you.
Inside of you.
Yeah, man. For me, the absolute best one was Zoe Thorogood writing about the suicide of her brother. I thought this one was incredibly poignant. I read it about 1,500 times, and I put the book down and didn't pick it back up for a few hours after I finished this one. I thought it was incredible. It's just 9 panels, but and this is a recent suicide that she's dealing with, and the loss of her brother. But I thought it was incredible. Just like the little bits of narration the dog doesn't understand. I would tell you she misses you, but honestly, she's been loving all the attention she's gotten since you left. Wow, so many new friends, you'd probably say. Like, it was heartbreaking and beautiful. And I thought, some of these other ones were okay, but nothing came close to Zoe's story for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Zoe, I think she was put on the scene at the same time for a lot of us when she won that Eisner for It's Lonely at the Center of the Earth. And this story, it really made me want to go back and pick that back up and read it, even though it's a difficult read, with some of the topics that come up in it and some of the touchstones of it. Just like this is a difficult read as well, but also a beautiful story, right? There's a lot of love that obviously went into the making of this, and it hit hard. Like, this one, while the other story was my favorite, this one was the most poignant and touching and like heartfelt of the entire issue. So I appreciate that. And like, listen, if you're gonna tell me that you make a 9-panel story, like, I ain't gonna be mad, because 9 panels is the best amount of panels that you can have on a page. So.
Wow, shameless self-plug there.
Oh, there's no shame at all.
Way to make it all about you. So your favorite one was the baby shoes ad?
Yeah, that was my favorite one of all of them. That's the one I kept thinking back to. I was just like, that's so weird and silly.
I liked Grant Morrison's one. I liked I'm trying to find it.
I'm making notes, by the way. You said that this was an okay issue, but so far you liked Grant Morrison.
Just going over the one other one.
Good.
Yeah, Zoe's was incredible. Zoe's is the reason I'm glad this issue exists.
You like W. Maxwell? It sounded like maybe you like this issue. Maybe can we up that?
It's more miss than hit, like I said. I guess it's Grant's other one. At Home with the Colonel Kurtz one. Okay. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
done. That's it. It's good. It was good, but I don't know. Yeah, I think we've seen better. But regardless, I love this book's creative ambition and always trying to push the boundaries of storytelling and what a comic can be. And yeah, man, I'm glad you're all caught up. You've read every issue now up to this point?
No, I think I still have a couple of the earliest issues after the second hardcover came out because I jumped
Mhm.
in. I read both of those, and then I jumped in maybe like 3 or 4 issues before Decompression in a Car Wreck, something like that. So yeah, I know that there's still a handful that I gotta go back
Yeah.
and read.
Y'all check out those Sunday editions that they got out there. They're
Oh
beautifully put together.
yeah, when
Sal's
that
right.
I think
Yeah, that oxycodone addiction story was very cool. Oh yeah.
yeah. Oh, and the way that it loops around back on itself and yeah,
Yeah,
no
man.
good.
Wait till day 4.
Yeah.
That's so real, dude.
And yeah, of course, Simpleton. I mean, it's more often used as a YouTube reference for one of the best shows on YouTube right now. But also, a little known fact is it is in fact a comic book reference. Little known fact. Moving on. All right.
Yes, please.
All right. Let's hit up our next issue here, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #6. Here, I'm going to let you take the runway on this one as well. Here.
Yeah, so a lot of deliberation as far as what my final book was going
A
to be
lot of deliberation
this week. I appreciate you riding it out with me. We made it though. I finally settled in this one because I saw Juan Ferreira was on artwork, and I've loved Juan for a minute. And I was kind of with you on the beginning of this run. I didn't really care for it until I got to the Donatello issue. I fucking love that one. That one really sold me, and I was kind of back in the game. I quite like this one, man. Juan on artwork. This one was kinetic. It was all over the place. I love the brothers arguing and how they kind of just walked right into the Foot Clan's trap to set them up and make them look like the bad guys at the end of the episode. But it's the 4 of them back together. They obviously can't get along. Arguing and bickering, end up fighting each other when they're supposed to be fighting members of the Foot Clan. But regardless, I thought it was all really beautifully put together by Juan, man. His painted stylings really work for me in this. His color choices, whether they're in the smoky blue and grays when they're getting gassed or whatever, to the all the frenetic colors he's got going on when they're in the car chases and downtown and so on and so forth. So but yeah, the brothers are finally back together. Of course, they're bitter and broken, and what did he call them? Like the
Broken
fist with
fist
4 broken knuckles or something like
yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
broken fist, yeah, something. It's definitely like that. So yeah, and they're in a bad spot. They're basically public enemy number 1 here at the end of this issue, in more ways than one. They got the public mad at them. They got the Foot Clan after them. They've been set up to look like the bad guys in a variety of fronts. So what did you think about it, bro? Catching back up with this series.
It was all right. Like I wanted 2 things. Like let me circle back around here. So my experience with the first couple issues in this, the introduction issue for each one of our turtles,
Yeah.
like it was rough for me. It was really rough, like to the point where I was kind of ticked off at the book. So I was just like, this isn't what I wanted. And when I read a Ninja Turtle book, I want to, in the back of my mind, I want to hear da 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 da, and I want to hear the character voices. And I did not get that at all from any of the prior issues. In this issue, I can at the very least say that I started getting that. Like I heard, I started having fun with the bickering, the banter back and forth. And like, especially like, I don't feel like Jason Aaron has the voice for every single one of the turtles yet. But I definitely feel like he's got Raph down. Like he's got that voice really good to where, again, like I'm a sucker for the movies. In fact, I think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first movie, might be the first movie I ever went to go see in the movie theaters. Now that I think of it, I'm fairly confident that that's the first one. So I like that. I have a big love for that first movie, and I feel like he's got the voice in there to where, like, when I was reading it, I could kind of hear the voice actors of those characters, like Yeah, I'm crazy, Leo. Okay, I'm crazy. I'm nuts. Okay, you know that
Yeah,
thick,
right.
thick New York accent. So like,
Yep.
I found some enjoyment out of that, but maybe I got to give this another chance here. Like it's, I feel like I'm stuck in this too little, too late notion with the book, where I'm just like, okay, why didn't you give this to me in issue 1? I could be 5 issues into like a better
I feel you
series
though.
if you would have
I
just
completely,
given me
dude. Like
this.
the one with Ralph going to the where the like the ancient turtles that got worshipped or whatever. That issue was such a snooze fest, man. It's like some of them have been really rough to get through, and it's unfortunate because they had those artistic teams they had on those first. Remember the announcements,
Dude,
and it was like, yo, these
yeah.
are going to be crazy, and then it was just like, I don't know. It just did.
Like, yeah,
I
no,
don't
you
feel
were
like,
crazy for spending money on these.
and yeah, and I don't feel like Aaron wrote a story to anybody's strengths. You know, this feels like the first time where he's really working with his artist and throwing up alley oops for Juan to catch and slam down. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yes.
this you got Juan Ferrer on your book. This is the type of artwork and things you want to give him to draw. So, but this felt like the first time really that synchronicity has happened in this book.
Yeah. Well, and the artwork too is the highlight of the issue so far here. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like the smoke scene right here that we have where they're jumping out of
Yeah.
here. There's some huge panels too where it's throwing punches back and forth. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was like Leo punching Raph at one point. A lot of kinetic energy behind those
Like
panels
with the
too.
close up on his teeth and
Yes.
stuff and his face and stuff. Yeah, it looked
Kind
great.
of like a raging bull almost scene where it's like the spittle is coming off of his lip kind of things, you know?
Yeah.
So like a lot of like I really like is Juan Ferreira supposed to be the ongoing artist from this point
See,
out?
that's the thing, man. Juan he's great, but he's not fast. So I
Yeah.
don't,
I mean,
you know
usually
what I
those
mean?
two
I
things
mean, look
don't
at
go
this
hand in
art.
hand.
Yeah, like he's a pain.
I'm looking at the
I don't know
future
what his
issues now.
process is, but it doesn't seem quick. So he might be on a couple, but I don't know how long he's going to stay around.
Let's
Because I
double check the
remember
solicitations. Let's see what's going on here.
he was on Green Arrow with Ben Percy, but he was in and out.
Well, I'm just looking at the last issue that's been solicited. We're talking number 9, and it's him on the artwork. So
Okay.
fingers crossed. Let's hope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If that's the case, I'm gonna dip back
gave him
in.
a
I'm gonna
big
see
head
if
start, I'm sure.
oh yeah, for sure. And maybe that was the reasoning behind the first introductory issues was like, hey, all right, Juan, you go do your thing, get as far ahead as you possibly can. We're gonna introduce the turtles back into, this new run, and we'll kind of come out swinging like that. If that's the case, I think there was just a better way to go about it. But either way, I thought this was an okay issue. I think I got to get past it here. Well, if the next issue hits for me, then we'll know for sure that I'm along for the ride.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our favorite covers of the week here. We're going to kick things off with a slow burn book here, but I thought that Dave Johnson put out an excellent cover here for Dust to Dust. Interesting storyline. I think that J.G. Jones is doing some cool things on the interiors of this, but Dave Johnson did a really cool looking cover on this. I appreciate it. I think it's pretty darn striking with the visual difference here between the top and bottom of that page. We have next up arguably the most terrifying cover to ever hit comic book stands here by Mark Spears here with Monsters. If you don't know me, like, just let me put everyone on notice here. Sharks are the worst thing to exist on the face of this planet. The ocean is just a cesspool for enormous serial killers, right? So
I heard somebody call it monster soup one time, and I just love that phrase.
ugh. Dude, I saw Jaws at far too young an age, and it has like scarred me for life to the point where there were times I had a swimming pool growing up, and I would be in the swimming pool, an above ground swimming pool, by the way, which was like the most ghetto version of a swimming pool. It was still a legit pool, not like a blow up one or anything, but it was above ground, which means that you didn't actually invest in it too much. I would be in that pool by myself at night, and I had convinced myself, but what if a black hole opens up and the other side of that black hole is in the ocean, and a shark can swim through that black hole and eat you in the water right now? I maybe possibly convinced myself that there was a 1% chance that that could happen, and I was terrified. Sharks, evil, wrong, bad. I hate them.
Wow.
But this
Wow.
cover is awesome. The cover, again, it does everything it needs to, which is like terrify you. So great job, Mark.
So, bro, you live in Cali. You don't ever get swimming in the ocean?
No. Did you not hear what I just said? You don't go in the ocean.
All right.
If Hannibal Lecter invited you over to dinner, are you going to go? No.
I
Because
mean,
that's what a crazy person does.
I don't know if we see eye to eye on that comparison, but that's right.
Killer gonna kill. That's what it's all about. They will eat you. Okay, so you have fun going over to Hannibal Lecter's place for dinner, but you're a crazy person.
Okay. So, my God. So, why did you put this cover up if you're going to get triggered so bad?
Oh, dude, like it's effective. It's effective. Like I'm not going to be mad at it.
Did you? What happened when you saw it? Did you stop? Did you stop cold in your tracks when you saw it on the shop shelf? Were you like?
Oh yeah, dude. I was a little bit like, whoa, moving on. Okay, we're back.
It is fantastic, dude. It looks great. Mark did a great job on that one.
Yeah. For all you Mark Spears fans out there, though, a lot of blue on that cover. Tons of blue.
So much blue. I want to highlight this real quick before we move on. Edson, did you see the not safe polybag Jimmy prison variant? Yes, we did, bro. We were talking.
I know somebody who saw it.
Yes. Good. I know you were not disappointed. That thing is beautiful, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Rogue in the house.
Can't go
Rogue,
showing
what
that.
up, bro?
What up, bro?
Station brother. Good to see you. Oh yeah. Edson says it's the exact same for me. I live in California and do not swim in the ocean. Wow.
See?
Y'all just be looking at that motherfucker all day long.
We got two. It's like a museum. You go to a museum. You don't go touching the paintings, right? You go to appreciate it. You look at it. I don't got to go to the ocean, in the ocean. No way.
This is amazing. What a revealing chapter. A revealing night for Ink and Insights in the life of E and what you'd be going through. How old were you when you saw Jaws, bro? And who did that to you?
I couldn't.
Was it like a lazy babysitter or what happened?
Oh yeah, dude. Like maybe 6. Like something young enough where I was just like, no,
young, man. That would definitely put the fear of sharks in.
Yeah, dude. No, sharks, evil, wrong. They're just wrong. I don't know what they do to like the circle of life ecosystem that we have on this earth. I'm sure they serve a purpose, but I think that purpose might just be to terrify me.
It's to eat Eric's. Yep.
Yeah, and then yeah, come at me. Go ahead. Try to come on land. I dare you.
Punch that.
Next up here. Shoot. I had the artist's name written down on this one and I can't remember, but we just talked about Psylocke here and I thought that this was a really cool, really trippy visualization of the character here. I kind of loved the cover on it, so I figured that deserved a little bit of a shout out, a little bit of a spotlight on this one. But we've gone over my covers ad nauseum at this point here. Stu, why don't you talk about yours?
Yeah, man. Green Lantern. This is a variant by Mario Fox Focilio, I believe. Focilio? I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, I just loved it.
That's a noodle.
It felt like it felt like a piece of graffiti art or something. Yeah, fantastic. I just love the energy behind it. Then we got Hell Hunters. This was just the cover A by Jonas Scharf. I just love this one. I'm a sucker for like the just the glint of the eye and the darkness staring back at you. Anytime I see that type of image, and I just thought this one was terrifying, dude. Seeing all these guys, dude with his throat slit back behind him, and like all the little details in this one.
And let's give a peek behind the curtain here too. This was almost one of the books that you wanted to discuss tonight, man. What made you 86 this one and go with one of the other ones?
I don't know. I just thought I don't know. I was hoping Turtles would be a better conversation, but this one was all right. It's kind of I don't know. I feel sad for Philip Kennedy Johnson. He's such a great writer, and I just feel like he's kind of handcuffed at Marvel. I don't know if he's got an exclusive contract with them right now because is he on any DC stuff?
Yeah,
he did do that Green Lantern War Journal book, but what is he doing?
Shoot, now it's escaping. He was on
anything right now? I don't know. He was just on such a hot run at DC, and now he's gone over to Marvel, and like I had such high hopes for his Incredible Hulk, and it just felt like I don't know. I'm I just want to see him back on top. I like him a lot as a human being and as a writer. And
yeah,
I thought there were a lot of cool aspects of Hell Hunters too, though. It felt very Grant Morrisonian in some ways. The homeboy with the homeboy, right? Homeboy with the energy gun, and yeah, some of the aspects of it. But I don't know, man.
Well, it's a cool story. I did read this one. I dug it, and I definitely agree with you on the cover. That's awesome looking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the last one. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, our season's variant. This is by the great Kent Williams. Just a beautiful piece of painted artwork there.
Nice.
So yeah, those are my 3 for the week. It was a little tough to choose this week, man. Kind of hard.
Yeah,
hard to find.
It was a tough. I mean, we talked about Psylocke. We know it was a tough week. I mean, yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah. DC said he's going to be on a new Superman book. Hell yeah. I'm loving Hell Hunters. Hell yeah. Glad you're enjoying it, bro. Well, I guess we picked the wrong book to talk about then. Should have picked Hell Hunters, huh?
I enjoyed it. I'll say that.
Hell yeah. I got high hopes for it. Yeah. But yeah, that's my covers of the week, bro.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Sorry.
All right. We got a creator spotlight here that we wanted to bring up here. One of the people that we had the pleasure of speaking to, go check out our interview that we had over on Comic Culture's channel here with Tony McMillan, the writer of books such as Attaboy, such as Serious Creatures, such as Lumen. Got a Kickstarter right now that actually just dropped, I think maybe 1 or 2 days ago, already fully funded here for the sequel series to Lumen's Destroying Angel Lumen. Artwork is super unique, super crazy chaos kind of stuff, right? Stu, you picked up a piece of artwork from him when we were at Heroes last
I got June here. I got 2 Tony originals, man.
You got 2?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
awesome dude. Great conversation. Dude. Yeah, like you got definitely go check him out. Go check out the Kickstarter here. Again, Destroying Angels Lumen. Awesome dude, awesome books. Attaboy blew my mind. It like he released it originally, self-published it, but Mad Cave picked it up. Mad Cave, I think, is secretly doing some crazy cool things in the background here, including Attaboy putting that out here under an official, comic book header. So be on the lookout for this. Go check it out. You have plenty of time here. And again, it's already fully funded, so you have nothing to worry about. Check his work out, man. I think that he deserves a creator spotlight.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I just want to say real quick, you go to these cons and meet these guys, and sometimes you're kind of depressed too. You've been putting your dollars or your support behind for years and years and years, and then you meet them as human beings. Like, Tony's one of those guys who's just A1. Just so kind and warm and hilarious. So you couldn't be backing a better dude. So yeah, glad to see he's fully funded on what, the first day?
Yeah, I think I got funding on the very first day. So yeah, congratulations. Awesome stuff, man. Can't wait to see the actual finished product here. It's going to be amazing. I know it. Outside of that, we got the comics that were released today, right now, some of which I have in my hands right now. Stu, man, what are you excited for? What's coming out that's blowing your hair back?
Sacrificers. Guess that's only true for one of us, huh? There, Lex.
You gotta say all night, attack after attack, just jab, man.
Sacrificers, Kaya, Ultimates, man. Ultimates is like the one Marvel comic I get giddy about and I want to read right away. I actually got it opened on another tab right now. I'm gonna read it like first thing after we get off this program. Yeah, I got to read that like before I even pick it up in the shop. Kaya, I cannot wait for. I heard Robbie say we kind of get Wes kind of lays out in the letters or the end of the issue about what his plans are for the rest of the book. So I'm interested to see. Or I don't know. We get some idea about where he wants to take the rest of the journey. So I'm anxious to read that.
I'm trying definitely not to spoil myself here and see what it shows.
Right? I heard. Listened to Robbie this morning and heard him say that. But yeah, absolute Superman. Of course, I'm hyped for that one. But yeah, man. Looks like a good week so far.
Yeah, I think we got some cool stuff here. Sacrificers is definitely the one that stands out for me the most. I luckily got to spend some time already reading the Ultimates, Batman, Absolute Superman, Cruel Kingdom. So I did.
Oh,
some
that's the
work
last Zdarsky issue, isn't it?
Yes.
Damn.
I'm reserving.
Man.
I'm reserving my opinion, but
so we should probably talk about.
surprised.
We should bring that up, like, even if that's a complete piece of garbage or an issue, we should at least talk about how we feel about the. We should give our
Welcome
thoughts
to
on
Ink and Insights, where we talk about trash.
No, but for real, let's talk about our next week. Let's make sure we touch on our thoughts about the Zdarsky run and what our hopes are for the.
You heard it here first. We're
forward.
talking Batman Zdarsky run next week. I'm excited.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I am. I'm legitimately excited. That's honest, truthful. I've opened my heart. I've come from a place of honesty this entire episode. Some of us have been attacking the loss of hair that others have had and their choice in favorite.
Don't try to act like you've been all innocent out here. All right.
Listen. Okay. All right. Actually, here we have Rooster Blue talking about one of the issues that I'm actually really excited for as well. Here, Robot Todd by Farrell. I cannot pronounce that last name to save my life. Dalrymple. Yes. Okay. I'm confident in what I said there. That was supposed to come out today, but I want to check it out, but it's not at my shop. And that's the thing. It wasn't at my shop either. I got to go hit up a couple other ones and see if it's some diamond shenanigans or if it was a shop thing. It looked really cool though. And I'm definitely always down to pick up
check this book out. Yeah.
A real indie book. You know, I believe it was Fantagraphics that put that out. So I'm definitely down to check.
Fantagraphics? Oh, I got to get that then.
Yeah, I'm definitely
going to buy all Fantagraphics releases.
That's basically like you
cannot.
You're
wrong.
always going to get something interesting. Yeah, like definitely worth it.
Something quality.
Yeah. All right. So that does it for us this week here, but that doesn't mean that that's the only place you're going to find us here. Stu, tell us where we can find you next.
Yeah, man, I will be. I just dropped this morning. I dropped a new episode of my Surrounded by Short Boxes program. That's just me spotlighting my favorite back issues from the personal collection and what I love about them so much. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew by doing an oversized issue with one of the 6 issues from DC The New Frontier. So this one went a little long. I'm going to try to make them a little shorter in the future, but regardless, I had so much fun digging into Darwin Cook's magnum opus. Check me out either tomorrow or Friday. I'm going to have a Fantastic Four issue covering one of my favorite Galactus issues. Try to get get in with the topical times since the trailer dropped this week. And then tomorrow night I will be on Blood Splatter Chatter with the homies Verno and Link talking horror. We're doing a double feature, Warm Bodies and Werewolves Within. Little horror romance, horror comedy to kick off February. And then you can catch me Friday night over on the homies One Collection Down with Fable Talk. You're not gonna be there. Are you gonna be there? You're not making that one, I don't think. But
no guarantees. I will try, but no guarantees.
Brother Joe, we're gonna be talking Fantastic Four trailer, other pop culture news and notes. Check us out, One Collection Down, Friday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern. And that's it for me.
Nice. All right. As always with me, you can catch me on 9-Panel Grid, right? The place where you're at here every Monday morning, talking on the pull list here, my weekly comic book review show where I go over all the comics that came out the previous week here, my thoughts about them, and everything we talk about here, plus a plethora more. So go check that out if you haven't already. That does it for us. So thank you everyone so much for joining us here. We appreciate each and every one of you for hanging with us, being awesome in the chat here. Definitely appreciate you coming on this journey with us as we kind of really found out who the greatest Hulk was here, because we know it was Mark Ruffalo, but unquestionably we know that
thank you all for coming and being part of the conversation tonight.
Our favorite Stu is right here.
Love you guys. Oh, and later. Rogue said, for anyone who might care, Tashin has their yearly sale starting tomorrow, 75% off. That's good. Good looking out, bro, because that's a great sale.
75%.
You got money to spend, check them out. Yeah, dude, it's some crazy awesome sale. So love y'all.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Y'all have a solid week. We'll talk to you next week.
Station.